Fetterman had a stroke, by the way, in May. I didn't know this. I'm shocked actually that maybe not so many people, or maybe it happened at the time. Fetterman was open about certain medical procedures, having had them himself, and then suffers what even Sanjay Gupta describes as a very serious stroke. We're noticing this trend. Who knows? The stroke might have been caused by long COVID. Who knows? It might have been caused by COVID itself. But Fetterman, vocal about certain medical procedures, suffers a stroke at a relatively young age, a very serious stroke where they had to pull a blood clot out of his brain. And parentheses closed. I didn't know that Fetterman had a stroke. I saw everybody like, is Fetterman all right? What's wrong with Fetterman? Putting together these montages, which looked to be edited in that they were short sentences. But Fetterman, it didn't look like he knew how to speak publicly. Couldn't finish sentences, incoherent. And I thought that's just the way Fetterman was. I didn't know he had a stroke. And so when people were making fun of his delivery, I was like, oh, that's the way he talks. No need to make fun of it. And not that people should make fun of it now, but now people should be asking some serious medical questions. And they are. Is he fit? Because I've seen some before and after now. He didn't always talk like that. Is he fit from this stroke that he had? And let's hear this. Sanjay Gupta. I'll tell you one thing. COVID has made me loathe Sanjay Gupta. COVID has made me appreciate Dr. Sanjay Gupta is a dino, a doctor in name only. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is a doctor. He is a CNN propagandist. He is a political tool. I actually like that. I've now thoroughly come to accept this. So much so, listen to this. Dino.
So in terms of his ability to serve in the United States Senate, can he understand a tough national security issue before he casts a vote? Can he understand the complexities of a major health care bill if he had to cast a vote? Could he understand the major complexities of a tax bill if he had to conduct a vote? Can he read it as opposed to getting a briefing from the staff? Is that kind of the issue here?
I think so. I think that's it. He does not appear to have a problem with understanding, comprehension.
He does not seem to have a problem with understanding, comprehension. Based on what do you say that, Dr. Sanjay Gupta?
It is a processing issue. That seems to be the case. And again, this is based on looking at these interviews. We have not seen his medical records, but that's...
Really... Oh, I'm sorry. What's that? We haven't seen his medical records? Do we not recall what happened to a so-called psychiatrist in the trial of Johnny Depp who came to a clinical assessment of Johnny Depp based on commercials, based on his performance? No. I haven't seen his medical records based on interviews.
Understanding, comprehension. It is a processing issue. That seems to be the case. And again, this is based on looking at these interviews. We have not seen his medical records, but that's really what it does look like, a processing issue versus a comprehension issue. So
I haven't seen the medical records, which might show that I'm 1,000% wrong. Forget that. It's no biggie. It's no biggie.
Yeah, it might need to be presented differently, written down versus spoken. But you could recover in terms of actually being able to improve auditory processing as well. He's 5 months out from his stroke. Typically, people will have recovery, sort of 6 months to 18 months, they can even continue to recover. So whatever deficits he has now in terms of his ability to...
Which I don't know because I haven't seen his medical reports. I've just seen a few interviews where he doesn't take questions, doesn't enter into debates, and can barely finish a sentence. But I'm surmising nonetheless that his comprehension is fine.
Auditory process may improve as well. I don't want to minimize how significant an event this was. Sounds like it was a significant event. They had to pull a blood clot out of one of the blood vessels in his brain. But people do recover from these as well.
They recover is not the issue. If they don't die, they recover. The question is their intellectual, mental fitness for office. Is he going to understand complex tax bills, security issues? Well, we might have to, find other ways to explain what's going on to him. He might get better. It was a serious thing. They had to pull a blood clot out of his brain. He can't finish sentences, but it looks like he understands things, but I haven't seen his medical records. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. This is an opinion fitting for the most trusted name in news.
And it looks like that's exactly what he's doing.
That's the state of medicine today, people. Someone says, yeah, Desert 62 says, in the neck. Droyal 3 says, did we need to see Christopher Reeve's medical reports to realize he wouldn't be on our track team? That's Dr. Sanjay Gupta. This is the absolute state of medicine and politics. But hold on one second. What's this? Okay, that's not the right one. That's the hijab question. Okay, I'm just going to use this window. I want to see one thing.
Yeah, you say, well, the Prime Minister asks how you're doing.
Okay, we saw that. I just want to see one thing. I'm certain about this. Fetterman vaccine tweet. Just to make sure. John Fetterman on Twitter. My entire family is vaccinated and boosted. Vaccines plus effective treatment are safe and still the key to getting us out of this new phase of the pandemic. April 2022. And April to May. Does nobody ask these goddamn questions, people? I mean, this is a John Fetterman stroke. Do nobody ask? Just may I see? It was May 2022. I almost died. Pennsylvania Senate nominee John Fetterman says he is still recovering from a stroke. Oh, and this is June. April, we're all vaxxed and boosted. May, stroke. June, I almost died. I'm not putting anything together. I know that I thought it was in the month of May. Let me just see here. Stroke I suffered on May 13th. May 13th, he had a stroke. April 22nd, he's tweeting about having been vaccinated and boosted. Did anyone ask the question? I didn't. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's it. So Fetterman is he's fit for office. Dr. Sanjay Gupta said as much without having seen his medical records, which from what I understand, Fetterman does not want to provide. Won't agree to public debates, demonizes Dr. Oz for suggesting that he won't agree to public debates because of his stroke, and says that nobody should be made fun of for their medical condition. True. Nobody should be made fun of for their medical condition. I would argue that also includes not being vaccinated, but that's not my point on this. Nobody should be made fun of for their medical condition. But you don't ask the blind person to drive the bus. And you don't ask someone who might have suffered serious neurocognitive impairments as a result of a stroke to sit in office. It's not making fun of, but we have to now re-gauge life limitations based on physical limitations. Big distinction. That's Fetterman.